Providence is a big theme in the film itself. Michael Medved's book, The American Miracle, talks about the miraculous events in American history where it's very difficult to explain them other than the intervening of divine providence.
Providence of God is God present. And so that's what these stories are all about, the providential hand of God. We experienced the providential hand of God on making this movie. We heard that time and time again. Things just worked out.
When you're doing a movie or shooting a film as big as this, there are countless areas in which something can go wrong every step of the way. We have felt the hand of Providence on this production from the very beginning and how smoothly it's gone.
Everything was so peaceful and smooth. Hard work. We worked hard. But it all seemed to work out.
And the little hiccups that we have encountered along the way, logistical things that pop up all the time, have really not delayed us, which is almost unheard of.
A lot of stories behind the scenes you won't know. We didn't even get certain locations until literally 3 days before. We moved ahead as if we're going to get them, and then it got approved.
Oh my gosh, we just visited Mount Vernon, the house of Martha and George Washington. What a privilege. They opened the doors to us to film, and it's very exciting. What a thrill. Thanks to Matt Briney and the whole staff that opened the door to us. We understand that this may be the only feature film they've allowed inside the one room, the family sitting room, so it's very exciting.
We're at Houston Christian University, and we're very, very blessed to be here with these sets.
This is the first time that any film has shot inside this facility. You can see that it's brand new. There's not a scuff on a wall or a doorpost. I think it's barely been open 2 years. So we want to be extraordinarily respectful of this facility.
We had a tremendous day yesterday with the founding fathers and George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and the signing of the Constitution. And now we're here with actress Nicole C. Mullen. She's a gospel recording artist, and she's playing the role of Elizabeth Freeman, and there's going to be a trial that we're going to be having.
There's divine intervention that is playing a role in making sure that this film gets done, just like it did when these events originally took place during and after the Revolution.
Cinematographers like Rich Brower generally prefer overcast conditions when shooting outdoors to avoid harsh sunlight, which makes it harder to get rich, dramatic looks.
There's a number of factors that bump it from there to the absolute top, and those are sometimes out of my control, or most of the time they are. Like today, overcast. It was raining yesterday, and we were off yesterday. And tomorrow, I don't know what it's doing tomorrow. I think it's going to be sunny again tomorrow. But this looks great. So I'm going to get all sorts of credit today for beautiful photography because it's overcast. And I'll take it, but I don't deserve it.
You know, we've shot outdoors for putting all of the outdoor shooting days together. It's probably a month's worth of outdoor filming. We haven't had a single weather delay.
We'd start these mornings with a get-together, and because we were dealing with talking about the providence of God and God working in history, we would always ask God to bless every day, and we would pray when we had our team meeting, and that's how we opened every day of this shoot. And thankfully, thank God, we didn't have any serious injuries or accidents.
We haven't had one of our major actors be ill or be kept from getting to the set. I mean, we have actors in this that are coming from all over the country.
And many of those actors felt that they were supposed to be in this film, and they gave amazing performances.
I think it's a miracle that we're even here. When I approached this, I was told about this audition. It was sent to me by someone, and they asked if I would send in an audition tape. And I had no intention it wasn't something I was looking for. I've taken jobs before in documentaries and worked in the film industry a long time ago. But I'd actually just been sick and I didn't have a voice. I thought, should I even do this? And I kind of felt compelled that there was a spirit that was telling me, yeah, go ahead and do this. And I sent it in and I said, all right, God, that's in your hands. I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm not going to worry about it. And then a couple days later, I get a call back saying, oh, we'd really like to offer you the role of Washington. And I said to my wife, I said, Kel, I think I'm supposed to do this. So I'm going to sign on for it. I had no notion or understanding who was doing it. I knew who Michael Medved was. I knew about the book that he had written. And so when I got on set, it was like, oh, all right, I'm surrounded by very much so like-minded people. You know, I definitely felt that God had kind of stuck his finger in to direct us here.
When I photographed Nicole, who plays Elizabeth Freeman, from a distance, I sensed I didn't know her. I personally never met her before, but she was in this crowd, and there was like a halo around that woman. I'm not kidding. It was like, and then later I find out she's like, you know, a major player in this film, but somehow the energy that she created was so positive, and man, she was just amazing and authentic, and it was so real. You can't even imagine doing a film like this with mediocre actors.
I think everyone felt this providence or this presence in the making of this film, the presence of God, because so many things were coming together in a unique way that sometimes it just doesn't happen. You know, you try for it, but it doesn't always happen. And that's what I think was so special about the crew and about the management, about the team.
The boat scene, you know, we were looking all over the country for the boat, for the crossing. George Washington is going out in the middle of the night. It's Brooklyn Heights, and he's trying to maneuver so the British don't see him. And there's cloud cover, and so the Lord provides this cloud cover for him. It's very unusual timing for it. He gets them all up. And Tim Mahoney and I are looking at the boats and all the soldiers in the boats. And these great guys, these pirates down from North Carolina, brought their boat all the way up to Virginia to film this. And we go above and beyond. This is more than we expected. It looked so real. It looked like the guys were actually coming across. I think we're at the James River reenacting that one. So incredible.
When you're making a film like this is that, you know, I was fearful. I mean, I'll just, you know, like, oh, this is so big. Can we pull it off? And you have to get to a place where you have to relax and just say, what needs to be said here, you know, and having a sense of direction and praying for that sense of direction of what might be missing.
Providence was also seen by the crew in events before the shooting even began in Virginia.
With Ralph's background, with nonprofits and foundation work and publishing, the George Washington book of Sacred of Fire is amazing to me. We met Al Underwood, who's a massive historian, just great guy. He's a reenactor, he rides, he trains George Washington and others to ride. At the end of our visit with him at Monticello, it came out that Ralph had published this book. He goes, what? That's my favorite book. I have like hundreds of tabs in there. I quote it all the time. I'm in.
Isn't it interesting that the subtitle of The American Miracle is Our Nation is No Accident? And I've got to say, I feel that same way about how this whole project came together. All three of us are filmmakers. We've been involved in this for all of our careers. And you've done a lot of narrative films, and you've done a lot of documentary work, and I've done documentary work, and TV series, and the business world. And we each sort of bring these different disciplines and skills to the table. And I mean, it wasn't a month that we had decided to work together on this, that all of a sudden the project from Michael Medved comes.
You know, for a lot of filmmakers, you don't get opportunities very often to make a movie. And I actually think that this movie was a movie that God wanted to be made. There are unusual events of happening as this unfolded and that unfolded, that this film was a film that this is a story that needs to be told today.
The final major step was working with the National Orchestra and Choir of Latvia to produce the soundtrack for the film. Lolita Ritmanis was the composer.
Lolita had the vision of recording a live orchestra and a live choir. So it brought us around the world from Maryland, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania to be here in Latvia, recording the Latvia Symphony Orchestra and Choir. So we couldn't be more pleased that from 2 years ago to now, we have accomplished that. So it's such a thankfulness to God. We've seen His hand on every step of this movie, from the people that were chosen for acting, all the locations, and now the final touch, the little cream and cherry on the top. We have an orchestra and a choir. I understand it's an award-winning choir.
We're here in Riga, Latvia, recording for the American Miracle. How great is that?
The hard part is that sometimes a sense of direction is like going off into a place that you have no experience, probably some people would say you have no business, getting involved with, and it's just bigger than you. And the wonderful experience that I came away from was being able to step back and look at this entire team that we've had that all came together, and everyone was positive. And all those extras that came, and those reenactors and all the actors, they all felt that something special was happening here in the American Miracle filming.
And we received so many emails from them and from our locations and from our actors and crew members who reflected exactly that.
This is a huge project. There's a lot of moving parts, man. And I think that Providence trickles into our world because it's like, we need help. We can only do so much.
Along the way, there have been so many things that have tried to make things not work. Just a day and a half ago, my wife is portraying Martha Washington, and she was just about to go to bed when all of a sudden it popped up that her flight had been canceled. And suddenly there had to be a scramble to make things work and to find a new way to get out here. This crew and everyone involved has stayed so calm and focused and stayed in faith that it's like there's been never a point where we didn't feel it could all be overcome. And so there's this great feeling of confidence and joy that's been surrounding the set, just because everyone's kind of felt that there's been the divine hand upon the work that we're actually doing here.
When you're doing something important and poignant like this that has a faith-based structure to it, and things tend to work out, draw your own conclusions.
I'm just excited that we have such a wonderful piece. It's an honor to be able to make films about our history, and most people never get that chance, but this crew, this team, all these actors are actually making something that is going to, I think, influence history. And that's what the American Miracle movie's about.